Bodhi in the Brain, Part 11. Yeah, I believe we're at 11 now. Yes. How you doing, everyone? It's Morgan O. Smith here. As you all know, Bodhi in the Brain is a book that I put together that will be coming out at some point. But I just want to go through some of the information that will be present in the book for those who are interested in picking it up. This week, I'd like to talk about oxytocin. Oxytocin, which is the neurotransmitter responsible for love, bonding, compassion, things of that sort, empathy. For those who produce more oxytocin, they're able to love more, they're able to bond, they're able to show compassion and have empathy for other people. And what I'm saying here is Yinnergy, which is the meditation program which I designed years ago, which many people are using. It helps to increase oxytocin within the brain. Well, that's my belief anyway, but I believe if you did studies using Yinnergy, you would find that people who are using Yinnergy or people who do other spiritual practices have the capability of producing more oxytocin within the brain. So that's the claim that I'm making here. So for those who have experienced love at a higher degree, and now the love I'm talking about here, I'm no longer talking about like romantic love or the different aspects of love. I'm talking about now at this point the ultimate level of love, which very few people have experienced. But this is experience of love where you realize that everyone is one, or everything is connected, or everyone is connected, and you feel the love, compassion, and empathy for all human beings. But it can even go further to the point where you experience love for all living beings. And then it can get to the point where you have the love for all living beings and non-living things. It's my belief, of course, this feeling of love seems to be beyond anything that's happening within the brain and within the heart. But my belief is you're probably releasing a very, very large amount of oxytocin temporarily that allows one to experience something such as that, which is such a phenomenon for anyone who have experienced that, where you feel the love, compassion, empathy for absolutely everything in the universe. Well, it can get that far. It can get as far as having this love for the planet, or what people call Gaia, but it can go much further than that. It can be the love for the solar system, an absolute love for the galaxy, and then the absolute love for all galaxies, and the absolute love for the universe, and it can get to the point where the absolute love for all multiverses and all of that. And that can be experienced without even having the experience of realizing that you are God or Brahman. So that can be a separate experience, or it can be included with the experience of experiencing everything in existence as God, as Brahman. But that may be due to a large dose of release of oxytocin. Even though, as I said, that experience itself is beyond mind, beyond the brain, beyond time and space, and all of that. But it also includes the mind, the brain, and so on. So at that point, you realize that everything that's happening outside of the mind and the brain is exactly the same as the mind and the brain. So at that point, the mind and the brain and everything outside of the mind of the brain becomes one thing, a singularity, and that is non-duality. So non-duality means not two. It means not two. So the reason why it's called not two, because it's even beyond the concept of one or singularity or unity or anything like that. So at this point, it means not two, or one without a second. All there is this thing, if you want to call it. It's hard to comprehend that, so we just say things like one, unity, singularity, singular, things of that sort. But it's beyond any concept of a one or a unity or a singularity. But as I'm saying here, these large doses of oxytocin, which may only happen once in your lifetime, may happen twice, maybe could happen 15 times depending on the individual, where you experience this large dose of oxytocin. And there's also a combination of other neurochemicals as well, such as dopamine and serotonin, and the things go on. But oxytocin, as far as we know, is the main ingredient in regards to love and bonding and things of that sort. So when you're releasing oxytocin at that level, you may also feel the bonding, you bonding with all things to the point where the bond becomes so great that the two combine together in the form of a full amalgamation of this singularity of this one thing. So at that point, love, or you're bonding with the thing that you're bonding with is at that point is inseparable. So this is an extraordinary and amazing experience, a spiritual experience that if you're lucky to have an experience such as that, your life going forward can feel totally complete, totally fulfilled once you have an experience like that. So when you come out of that experience, all you want to do after that point is to help and to help other people. You be able to empathize with other people. You have compassion for other people. It doesn't matter if the person is separate from your group, from your gender, from your religion, from your race, from your ethnic group, from your social group, from your nationality, and so on. Something like that, you no longer have a discrimination towards those things when you have such an experience. But of course, some people have that experience and they go right back to their egocentric self or the ethnocentric self. But if you pursue further, you can break through to the point where that can become a permanent thing, where you no longer are stuck in the egocentric or the ethnocentric stage. You now become world-centric. And if you go beyond that, you can become cosmocentric. And the Yinnergy meditation can help to support that. Not always with Yinnergy on its own. It could be in a combination of other practices, but it can support and do something to that degree where you realize the depth and the depth of love that one can actually endure and experience, and it can be shared, and it can be shared in multiple ways. It doesn't just have to be in the traditional way of how we see love. You don't necessarily have to become a Mother Teresa per se, but that can happen too. That can also happen as well. So that's my take on oxytocin. Of course, oxytocin to the largest degree, but of course, Yinnergy can help you on a regular level. It can help you experience levels of love so that you can build better relationships with your family, better relationships with your significant other, better relationships with your kids, and better relationships with your community, and so on. Of course, all of that can happen. But of course, for the very few, the ultimate goal is to experience love for all living things, all people, places, and things, to the point where all people, places, and things are no longer three separate things. It all becomes one thing. And that bond can be so strong that you no longer, there's no longer a separation between these three things. There's no longer a division between these three things. All three of these things becomes the one thing, which is, of course, as I said earlier, is beyond the concept of one. And this is non-duality. And it can get to the point where it becomes absolute monism, right? So absolute monism, which is, means singularity, but the absolute singularity of everything included in all that, where you realize for the very first time that you are Brahman. So that's it for this week. I'll have another one next week. I'll try to do one every week until this book is released. I just want to say I'm happy to say that it just got the copyright for the book. I had to apply for the copyright. So the reason why the book is not out yet, because there's a process of things that I have to do, since this is a self-published project. So there's a number of things that I had to do. And so the copyright just came in. And so we'll be moving forward with the project, with the book, which again is called Bodhi and the Brain. And for those who don't know, Bodhi means enlightenment. That comes from the word Bodhi, when Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree and became enlightened. That's where that word comes from. So Bodhi. So that's it for this week. See you next week. And that's it. But in the meantime, check out Yinnergy. Check out Yinnergy, one of the best programs in the world. And it can change your life drastically for those who are serious and stick to the practice. We're not talking about someone who does it, 3, 10, 15 times, 30 times. We're talking about practice, real serious practice, years of practice. And there's 13 levels plus to the Yinnergy program. I say 13 levels plus because more levels have been added on as I discover new things, but there is 13 levels that are available, which will take you about 15 years to get through. But for those who want to try Yinnergy at the pre-level, The pre-level will take you about 4 to 6 months to get through. And if you decide that you want to move on to the second level, you contact me and I'll supply you with the second level, and so on and so on and so on until you get the results that you're looking for. And that's it. Take care, everyone. Until next time.